information. So we're hoping that maybe you might amend the legislation, Minister, to make so that you have the power and the ability under the legislation to make detailed regulations in relation to the practice and procedure to be adopted by each scheduled organisation in relation to the conduct of investigations and/or inquiries which may lead to a notification being made to the Bureau under Section 19.
Turnhout.
I also just have a comment on Section 19, which partly speaks to what Senator O'Clarty has proposed. Looking at this from an organisational background, my background, as you know, Minister, is in youth work organisations. I got confused as an organisation where they have to report to the HSE, to the Garda Síochána and to the Bureau, and that I questioned myself, why can't the authorities speak to one another? Why is the onus being put on organisations to do all of this reporting? And how are they sure? You know, I know my background is in the Girl Guides, and if they report that they have a concern and they report it to HSE and follow all the Children First guidelines, will they then not be following it because they haven't reported it to the Bureau and they haven't reported it to the Garda Síochána? So I got confused reading this section.
Firstly, if I could deal with the amendment, which I am unable to accept, as it would contravene the provisions of a range of existing acts. In this context, it should be borne in mind that all of the organisations listed in Schedule 2 of the Bill have the statutory power provided by the Oireachtas to conduct inquiries into child safety matters or inquiries into the fitness to practice of persons engaged in certain professions. The conduct of investigations or inquiries by those bodies, therefore, must follow the practice and procedure set out by the Oireachtas and the relevant acts. It should not be interfered with in any regulation, and cannot be interfered with, indeed, in any regulation made by the Minister for Justice in this bill, as is proposed in this amendment. I think if you examine the list of organisations that are referred to in Schedule 2, you'll see the truth of that. It would create a particular difficulty. In the context of the issue that Senator van Turnhout has raised, we're just seeking to ensure that notifications are properly made in all circumstances in which they're required in law, and the bill, I hope, adequately deals with that, as opposed to creating confusion as to whether someone told one agency and did the other agency get informed, did they not get informed, and we're just anxious to ensure, after all the experiences over recent years of good information not being provided on issues that should have been provided in. Maybe this is what I describe as the to be sure provision, but I'd rather be sure than uncertain, and it does, I think, set out clearly where matters stand.
Senator van Turnhout.
Yeah, Minister, I accept what you say. I suppose my difficulty is looking from an organisational resources is that the onus is being put on the organisations to do this. It could be called double reporting, but we're not actually getting the arms of the state to ensure that they actually report to one another, so that the HSE reports the guards or they're sharing information. And that was my concern. It's the burden put on organisations, and I understand about vetting, but if you have a voluntary youth work organisation, it's actually, there's quite a big onus being put on by the bill for very good reasons. But I just want to ensure that an organisation wouldn't inadvertently not comply with the law because of the multiple reporting.
Could I just respond to that by saying that I know the Senator probably sleeps with them at this stage, is utterly familiar with the Children First guidelines. Yeah. Children First guidelines do prescribe certain connectivities between the different organisations, but we still think there's a value in the particular organisation trying to ensure, if I could put it this way, that the appropriate state bodies are directly informed by them. And I wouldn't see that in the context of organisations as an enormous administrative burden. I think it's a question of furnishing possibly identical information to two different agencies. But, of course, the Children's First Guidelines require those agencies to communicate with each other as well.
Before that, I called Senator Moon.
Does this include the Garda itself, Minister, or am I going down the wrong route here? I'm thinking of the Somme case where the eventual perpetrator of the